How your brain picks your crush. Have you ever wondered why you can't stop thinking about that one person? It feels magical, right? But here's the kicker. It's not magic at all. Your brain is running a secret algorithm to decide who you fall for. And trust me, it's weirder and more fascinating than you think. Think about it. Why do some people make your heart race while others, no matter how objectively attractive, leave you completely indifferent? The answer lies deep within your brain's wiring, a mix of ancient survival instincts and modern emotional quirks. And today, we're going to break it all down. All right, let's get one thing straight. Attraction begins and ends in your brain. Scientists say three main systems are at play: lust, attraction, and attachment. It's like your brain is hosting its own reality dating show. Lust kicks in first, driven by hormones like testosterone and estrogen. It's your brain whispering, "Go find someone." But lust isn't just about physical desire, it's also about urgency. Evolutionarily, this system exists to push us toward reproduction. That's why when you're in this phase, you might feel impulsive, almost reckless. Your brain is overriding logic in favor of primal instinct. Then comes attraction. The butterflies, the obsession, the daydreaming. This is where dopamine floods your brain, making you feel euphoric, like you're on a high. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical because it reinforces behaviors that feel good. When you get a text from your crush, dopamine hit. When you see them smile, another hit. It's like your brain is playing a slot machine and your crush is the jackpot. Finally, there's attachment, the glue that bonds long-term relationships, fueled by oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin, sometimes called the cuddle hormone, is released during physical touch. Hugging, holding hands, even just sitting close to someone. It creates a sense of security and trust. That's why after the initial spark fades, long-term couples still feel deeply connected. Their brains have literally rewired to associate each other with their safety. Here's the wild part. These systems can work together or completely independently. That's why you can feel lust for one person, attraction for another, and attachment to someone else entirely. This explains why some relationships start hot and fizzle out fast. The lust was there, but the deeper attraction or attachment never kicked in. Meanwhile, other couples start as friends with no initial spark, only to realize years later they're deeply in love. The brain's love systems don't always sync up on the same timeline. So what makes your brain choose that specific person? Is it their smile, their laugh, their confidence? Yes and no. Turns out there's a lot happening beneath the surface. For example, did you know your brain subconsciously picks up on scent? Studies show we're drawn to people whose immune system genes, called MHC, are different from ours. Why? Because pairing with someone genetically dissimilar increases the chances of healthy offspring. Your nose might not notice, but your brain is doing the math. Ever noticed you're drawn to people you see often? It's called the mere exposure effect. Your brain loves what it recognizes. That's why childhood friends or coworkers can suddenly become crush material. It's not just them, it's your brain playing tricks on you. This is also why long-distance relationships can be tough. Without regular face-to-face interaction, the brain starts to detach. On the flip side, this effect explains why office crushes or class crushes happen so easily. Proximity breeds familiarity, and familiarity breeds attraction. Research suggests we're attracted to traits that feel familiar or comforting, even if we don't realize it. For example, people sometimes pick partners who remind them of their parents. Sounds weird, right? But it's not about looks, it's about behaviors, mannerisms, or even emotional patterns we've experienced before. This is called imprinting. Your early experiences shape your romantic preferences. If you had a warm, loving parent, you might seek partners who make you feel the same way. But if your childhood was unstable, you might unknowingly gravitate toward chaos, because that's what feels normal to your brain. Your brain is hardwired to look for signs of health and good genes. Facial symmetry, clear skin, and body posture send silent signals of fitness. Psychologists call this evolutionary attraction. Basically, your brain is saying, this person might be a good partner for survival. But here's a twist. Attraction isn't just about finding the perfect mate. Studies show that when people are shown slightly imperfect faces, ones with unique quirks, they often rate them as more attractive than perfectly symmetrical ones. Why? Because uniqueness stands out. Your brain remembers it. So that little crooked smile or those freckles, they might be playing a bigger role in your crush than you think. Now let's talk chemistry. When you're crushing hard, your brain releases a cocktail of chemicals that mess with your emotions. Dopamine is the big one. It's the same chemical released when you eat your favorite food, win a game, or achieve a goal. It makes you feel rewarded when you think about your crush. That's why you can't stop replaying moments with them. This is also why rejection hurts so much. When your crush doesn't text back or worse, ignores you, your brain reacts like it's experiencing physical pain. fMRI scans show that heartbreak activates the same regions as a broken bone. So no, you're not overreacting. Your brain is literally treating emotional pain like a survival threat. Then there's norepinephrine, which keeps you on edge. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and suddenly you feel like you're starring in your own rom-com. This is why first dates can feel like roller coasters. That jittery, nervous energy, it's not just in your head, it's a flood of norepinephrine sharpening your focus and making every little detail about your crush feel intense. Lastly, serotonin levels actually drop. This explains the obsessive thoughts. Your brain is literally prioritizing thoughts of your crush over everything else. Low serotonin is also linked to OCD, which is why crushes can feel so all-consuming. You fixate on tiny details. Why did they say that? What did that text mean? And your brain loops on them like a broken record. It's no wonder falling for someone can feel like an addiction, because, in a way, it is. In fact, brain scans of people in love look nearly identical to those of cocaine users. The cravings, the highs, the withdrawal, it's all eerily similar. That's why love withdrawal after a breakup is a real, scientifically documented phenomenon. But here's where science hits a wall. Attraction isn't just biology. It's also deeply personal and unpredictable. Psychologists call it the X factor. Sometimes you just click with someone, and even scientists struggle to explain why. Some researchers believe this mystery factor might be tied to shared values, life goals, or even subconscious cues, like the way someone laughs at your jokes or mirrors your body language. These tiny, almost invisible compatibilities can trigger a deeper sense of connection. Take the famous case of Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller. Marilyn, Hollywood's ultimate bombshell, and Arthur, a reserved playwright, seemed like opposites, yet they fell deeply in love. Maybe Marilyn admired his intellect, while Arthur was captivated by her depth beneath the glamour. Or consider couples who've been together for decades. When asked why they stayed, they often say things like, "We just fit." That unexplainable harmony? That's the X factor in action, something beyond chemistry or logic. This X factor shows that beyond the chemicals and algorithms, your unique experiences, values, and emotions shape who you're drawn to. It's also why dating apps, despite their algorithms, can't perfectly predict love. You might match with someone who ticks all the boxes, but without that inexplicable spark, it fizzles. Meanwhile, the person you least expect might surprise you. Attraction isn't all about appearances. While looks might catch your attention, it's often personality traits like kindness, humor, and confidence that seal this deal. Confidence, in particular, is a huge attractor, not arrogance, but genuine self-assurance. Studies show people are drawn to those who carry themselves with ease, because on a subconscious level, confidence signals stability and competence. In fact, studies show that when people spend more time with someone, their attraction to that person can grow, even if they didn't find them attractive at first. This is called the slow burn effect, and it's why friendships sometimes turn into romance. The more you know someone, the more your brain starts to associate them with positive emotions, inside jokes, shared memories, trust, and suddenly attraction follows. It's called the slow burn effect, and it proves that emotional connections can rewire your brain's perception of someone. This is also why fake dating tropes in movies often lead to real feelings. When two people pretend to be in love, their brains can't always tell the difference. The repeated exposure, the forced closeness, it tricks the brain into developing real attachment. So next time you find yourself daydreaming about your crush, remember your brain is behind the curtain pulling the strings. It's a mix of biology, psychology, and that mysterious X factor that makes love so exciting and so complicated. And if you're single and frustrated, don't stress. Attraction isn't entirely in your control. Your brain is working in the background, assessing compatibility in ways you don't even realize. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let go and let your subconscious do its thing. But here's the real takeaway. Attraction might start in your brain, but the relationships you build are up to you. What matters most isn't just who your brain picks, but how you connect, grow, and understand each other over time. Because at the end of the day, love isn't just a chemical reaction or an algorithm. It's a choice to show up, to communicate, to keep choosing someone even after the initial high fades. And that's the real magic. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Until next.